for Bill and George Scheible and Wayne Scheible and George and Tim and Uncle Freddie from 1977 to 1987.
Okay, who was here in 77?
Oh.
Well, yeah, I was here. Where's Jansen?
No, not 77, I wasn't.
No.
80s.
You were, most of you were like a little.
Okay, sorry. Okay, go ahead. I thought we had some older ones now.
All right, pay attention.
Okay, sorry,
Quiet down. Today's the day I share a birthday with a man who was instrumental in not only shaping my life, but has a lot to do with every person at this fine company. His name is George Scheible. The man came out of a retirement party. I think this is right, Bill. I'm not sure. He came out of a retirement party at a Scheible Press. He sold the business to Jack Linen, and it became Linen Press. But I think that was on a Friday, and he went to work with Bill, Tim, Wayne, and Uncle Freddie on Monday. Didn't really take too much time off just to go to church, maybe. When I met Mr. Scheible, no one called him George, okay? No one was allowed to call him George. It was Mr. Scheible, except his wife Eleanor, of course. It was 1977. The company had been around for 7 years and had 28 employees. We were printing with 3 36-inch single-color Mealy presses and 1 25-inch Mealy press. Printing 4-color process work, 1 color at a time, with a human densitometer by my side. Bill knew that he needed dots. I think Grandpa helped him.
Oh, yeah.
I was hired there as the 29th employee at the minimum wage of $5.50 an hour. I had just been tossed out of RIT for just not doing very good. And I kind of liked the printing. I kind of like sticking around Rochester instead of going home to New Jersey, you know. My job was to unload and load up the trucks. But this is not about me. George Scheible provided the base and stability to ensure success and growth for all the people that worked for him. He had been given the nickname the Bear. And I don't think he knew about that. Mainly because no one ever wanted to mess with him. It was pretty much his way or the highway. But he did have a good heart when it came to making mistakes due to lack of knowledge or lack of common sense. He believed in second chances. Just ask his son Wayne. I think he got about 100 second chances. Right? Yeah. Always shaking his head about Wayne. I always often think of George Bailey from Bedford Falls. You all know who that is, right?
George Bailey.
George Bailey from Bedford Falls. And I think about how other people's lives affect so many others. If George Scheible was never born, hundreds, perhaps thousands of people would not be what they are and where they are today. All the credit for this wonderful, successful company cannot be given to George Scheible alone. Bill Oliveri and George Shar, your current active owners, and Tim Welsh and Wayne Scheible, your retired owners, have plenty to do with all this success. But the roots run deep. With strong roots, the tree will continue to grow. In closing, I'd like to reference the Reverend Bob Richards. Anybody know him?
No.
Reverend Bob Richards. He competed in the 1956 Olympics, the pole vaulter. And he was later quoted by Jim Valvano. Jim Valvano, I think some of you might know him. Coach Valvano. He said the Reverend Bob Richards said while Valvano was at a summer camp when he was a kid in the early 70s, that God must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of them. And Valvano said, what is it with this? You know, I thought it was special. And then the Reverend said, in the words that changed his life forever, and I think about it often, every single day, in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Now, George Scheible was just an ordinary guy who did extraordinary things. Thanks for listening, and have some cake.
If I remember one thing about Jimmy, he was a gopher. I called him the bald eagle because he played football in RIT and didn't have a number.
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, he didn't have a number.
My helmet.
And we had we have a finishing department now, but in those days, we had a bindery department, and there was this old-time guy, didn't really like these young college kids. His name was Frank Eckert, and he was
Great Lakes guy, yeah.
Great Lakes guy, yeah. Anyways, Jim comes out to the press room while I'm running these 3 presses simultaneously with Kevin Collins.
Right.
He says, "Hey, every time I bend over, this guy spits on me."
Did you really do that?
Yeah. See,
So-
George hired me to come and run the folding machines, and I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. So Frank would leave at 5 o'clock on the whistle like Fred Flintstone and yabba dabba do out of there, right? And we were busy. I mean, we had all the wives and all the grandkids in there collating the job for Xerox, and we ran out of a signature. And old George goes, "Jim, get over there and run that folder." I said, my shot, but the big time, off the loading truck to the folding machine, right? So I'm running the folding machine, I'm checking it. He's showing me how to check it and opening the thing up and opening it up. We ran a couple thousand off to get caught up. The next morning, Frank comes in and goes, "Who in the hell ran this machine last night?" I said, wow, it was tough. And these 2 guys, George was a big guy, okay, with a big belly, and this other guy had a big belly. So they're out in the bindery like this, boom, boom, boom. You had to go break them up.
I did. Remember that.
Yeah. So I owe a lot to you guys, and everybody here, and I just wanted to make sure you everybody that didn't know George Scheible kind of would know who he was and what it's all about in the beginning. And we'll put this up on YouTube for the other guys in the other shift so they can kind of learn a little bit about him. But Bill, cut the cake for us.
All right.
Thanks.
Oh, Terry, I didn't get in mine.
Brothers, you missed